Hi guys, welcome back. Now that you guys have finished the lab, I wanted to show you what those numbers would actually look like if you were to draw them out. And that's what I did. I used the same scale you used in the lab and determined the data table 1 of 1 millimeter equals 700 kilometers. I just want to remind you of what a millimeter looks like. On this ruler, these are centimeters. So there's 1 centimeter, there's 2 centimeters. So in between here is 1 centimeter. And those little lines represent the millimeters. So in 1 centimeter, there are 10 millimeters. So for one of those little lines on there, we're saying that's equivalent to 700 kilometers. And I wanted to draw out what it would look like if 1 millimeter equaled 700 kilometers, and then drew how big all of the planets would be. And I did that. Here's Mercury, so pretty tiny, so smaller than my finger. I just want to show you my fingers. If I use my pinky finger, I guess, it's just over a centimeter long. So that would be 7,000 kilometers. So you can see it's a little bit smaller than my pinky. Venus, still pretty small. Earth, pretty small. Mars, very small. Compare that to Jupiter. Jupiter is huge. So the first 4 planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, they're called the terrestrial planets. They're the closest to the sun. They are small, rocky planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, they are the large gas giants. And you can see why they're called giants. They're huge. So that's Jupiter. Saturn, smaller, but still much larger than Earth. Same with Uranus and Neptune. Now, I also drew out Pluto, even though it's not still a planet, it's a dwarf planet. And again, you can see why it's called a dwarf planet, even smaller than my pinky. What I also did is I spaced these using the same scale that we would have used, or that you did use in your lab. We used a different scale because if we used the same scale for distance and for size, we wouldn't be able to see the planets if we use the same scale as distance. And that's because the scale for planets for the distance apart was 1 centimeter is equivalent to 10 million kilometers apart. So instead, this space right here on this lab will be, for this part of the lab, will be 10 million miles. So you can see here's Pluto, very far away from Neptune, very far away from Uranus. Keep going down, Saturn, Jupiter, and the 4 inner planets all fit into one screen here. So Pluto is way down there past the second sink, a little bit before the pencil sharpener. So you can see they're pretty far apart. And then I just have one last question for you, and that's going to be, oh shoot, what was the question I was gonna ask you? That question is going to be, how do you throw a party in outer space? You plan it, duh.